Hello again, this is Austin Burns, your favorite plaid-loving tenor, and I'm here with a very special video today because I've got my brand new album! And so I would love to talk about my brand new album. Very fancy. So I chose to do an album of Neapolitan songs because I have really loved Neapolitan songs all through the time that I was in graduate school and in undergraduate. But even before I knew what Neapolitan songs were, I loved a lot of Elvis's songs like It's Now or Never and Surrender, which of course take from famous Neapolitan melodies, O Sole Mio and Torna a Sorrento. One of the reasons that I really like Neapolitan songs is that they are very similar to pop songs. So they're very catchy, they get stuck in your head, but they are distinguished from pop songs in that they have a really large range, and they're often associated with very famous tenors like Luciano Pavarotti, Enrico Caruso, the three tenors, and so on. Another reason is I just simply love Italian music. I love Italian culture, I love the language, I love the food. I'm learning Italian right now. I'm using an app called Duolingo that I know a lot of people have heard about, free, and I've been doing it for over a year, like 400 and some days in a row, and io parlo un po' l'italiano, ma non molto bene. Anyway, I speak a little Italian, but not very well. So now that I've talked to you a bit about why I decided to do an album of Neapolitan music, now I would like to talk to you about how I recorded it. I kept this very simple. I recorded everything with GarageBand. I had a single microphone. It's an SL150 studio microphone. I mixed everything within GarageBand, and then I in turn used eMastered, which is an online digital mastering source, except for one track which I tried out an actual person, but it was not financially viable, like $50 a track. Also, this time around, instead of using a lot of different musicians and working around various schedules, I just decided to record everything myself, which includes guitar, piano, bass, the ukulele, various percussion instruments like cajon and shaker, digital samples that I programmed, and I know I'm forgetting something, the melodica. It took quite a while to record this album. I recorded it over 1.5 to 2 years. Most of what I did was record here in my apartment in Fall River, but I also recorded some wonderful grand pianos at some different churches. For the album artwork, I took these photos myself. I used a tripod that I got off of Amazon, and I used my camera, which is just my iPhone. I put it on a timer. I stood outside of my apartment in front of a brick wall. I just wore a nice sweater and a hat. Very simple. I had my guitar, and I took some photos. Once I had taken those photos, I used an app called Right Behind to put the text on top of the photos. As you can see, it's got this nice kind of rustic look where some of the text is erased, and that's a nice feature of Right Behind. After I had the photos taken and the text put on top of it, I uploaded it to Disc Makers, where I ordered 1,000 CDs. And basically, you upload your album artwork. You do have to be a little careful because you have to insert a barcode. I had to move my website around a bit to make sure that I wasn't going to get in the way of that. Also, you have to make sure that the picture doesn't have the text going too far that way so that things get cut off. You may have to move some things around and redo your text, which was kind of annoying. Also, for the back, you have to upload this image upside down and then flip it for it to be correct because of the way that the picture folds. But other than that, not too bad. The digital distribution of the album is a little bit more complicated. Unfortunately, it is still not online yet. Disc Makers contracts with CD Baby, and they are able to upload to all the major online sites such as Amazon, iTunes, and Spotify. However, I ran into some problems because I have a classical album here. The way that you are supposed to name your tracks on a classical album is very specific. You have to have the piece name, the key, and the movement, and so forth. Unfortunately, when you have something like this, which is a Neapolitan album, they are often done by classical composers, but they are not part of a larger work. The key doesn't really matter because a lot of different singers sing them in different keys, and obviously it's not a large work, so there are no movements. That's a technical problem, and you can't upload it as a classical album. I'm still trying to get that resolved, and I might have to put it on iTunes as a folk album, which would be a little strange. Another thing that I've been struggling with as far as digital distribution is putting songs on Spotify. I decided if I'm going to have a free version of my album online, I want it to have a little watermark at the end. So basically what that means is at the end of the song it'll say, if you are interested in more songs by this artist, please go to austinbradfordburns.com. I didn't think that that would be a problem, but apparently it is. So I was uploading to Spotify this different version of the album through a free online distribution site called Amuse. They are great. They do take your personal information, much like Facebook, and they use it to sell to other companies, and that's how they're able to give you this service for free. I thought that was okay for me. It might not be right for you. In any case, they wouldn't let me upload it because they say there's not supposed to be an advertisement included in any of the tracks. So this argument is a bit ridiculous to me because it is a free product. Spotify is not going to pay me for having my music on there. And if they do, it's a fraction of a cent, and you have to get millions of listens before that translates into any amount of money. If you put your music on Spotify for free, then no one's going to want to buy your album, because why would you buy it when you could get it for free? Artists are kind of put in between a rock and a hard place because you want to get your music out there, you want to get discovered. And how do people get discovered? They put their music on Spotify, but then you're not going to get paid for your music that's on Spotify. So how do you make money? My thought was to direct people to go to my website. Sounds pretty fair to me. So I'm still not sure where my digital distribution stands. I'm sure that I will have my music on iTunes, other sites to buy. I don't know about streaming services. I'll have to make a decision on if I'm going to upload my full album with no watermark at the end, or if I can somehow get around that rule. In making this CD, I've actually had a lot of issues. It's just such a big company that there's a lot of automated responses that can get really frustrating, and it's hard to get help with sizing, making sure that the photo fits, making sure that it's the right amount of pixels. The physical CD is really nice, and I'm very happy with it. In that sense, I would recommend doing that. And most people aren't doing anything as complicated as I'm trying to do, having two separate versions of the album, one with a watermark. So most people are not going to run into that issue with uploading. And if you're not a classical musician, then you won't run into the issue with putting in your music in a very specific way. If you are interested in buying this album, please go to my website. There's a contact page where you can email me, let me know what your address is, and I will be happy to send you an album after we hook up through PayPal or Venmo. And thanks again for watching this video. If you are putting together an album and you have questions or comments, or if you have already put together an album, you would like to give advice, talk about how you would do things differently, please comment below. Also, if you have questions for me personally, you can email me through my website, as mentioned before, at my contact page. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a great day. Hey baby girl, look up there. Look, you're on camera. Look.